UFC Mexico City. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card after seeing the fighters on the scales. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share the video too. And also note I'll be live for the entire card Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss the fight companion. And let's get into fight number one. We got Wes Schultz and Damian Pinas. I'm going with the party time Schultz side. I'd say it's not necessarily like a contrarian pick, but it's like powerful, heavy-handed striker in Pinas versus, in essence, kind of just grappler on the Schultz side. I mean, he's got a chin on him. He's a pressure wrestler, good jiu-jitsu, creative submission threat. And he's fighting a guy with insane explosive punching power. The striking differential is vast, and I think the technical grappling differential skill set is vast too, because Pinas in the most recent fight where we saw some of his ground game, it looks sus, really sus. He was mounted. He's like pulling guard, jumping sloppy gillies, and he's on his back. He's reversing him with just like explosive power, no technique. If Schultz is on top of you, you're in trouble. Schultz has a legitimate ground game, good pins, good back takes, good submission threats. Enough so that I say to myself, it's hard to look past the chance of Schultz winning this fight. Now, I'll also say something interesting about this fight, though. I do think it goes under 2.5 rounds, under 1.5 rounds. We'll get to the odds here momentarily, but I do want to check them out on the scales. All right. First things first, Damian Pinas looking in shape, looking ready to go. He's a heavy-handed power striker with long arms. I'm not saying he's Danny Barlow 2.0, but he could be fraud checked like a Barlow, and he's taking on a strong grappler. I don't know. I got doubts about the Pinas side. On the opposite end, Wes Schultz, party time. We know what he does. He grapples well. Even gave Abdul Malik a little run for his money in round number one. That was on, 2 seasons of Contender Series ago. I feel like it's easy to be intimidated with Pinas, jacked, strong boxer. But Wes Schultz got that like wild man grappler look. He's in shape too on the scale. He's coming in shredded. It's not like Wes Schultz is slacking in the training room. There's the face off between the two. Height's pretty similar. Reach slightly favors Pinas. It's striker versus grappler. Wes Schultz has to be willing to go nose diving into the fire here and get this fight to the ground. If he starts trying to back away, Pinas is going to knock him out in the first round. So I think the fight ends in round 1. It's under 1.5, but I'm going to say party time Schultz fraud checks Pinas. I like Pinas' striking though. I picked him to win against Costa on Contender Series. Maybe he ends up chinning Wes Schultz in a big way. And that's why I like the better pick feels like under 1.5. You could go double chance, KO Pinas, sub Schultz, live. Those are all, I think, live methods. Now, as far as the bets and lines, we'll bring them up on the screen now, and we'll give them a look. Okay, so odds for this fight, Pinas' big favorite, -270. Schultz sitting at +230 as a dog. Line movement, a little bit, nothing too crazy throughout the week. Is wide towards the side of Damian, okay? Under a round and a half, -170. Dude, this feels reasonable. I think this fight is an under 1.5 rounds type of fight. Let's see here. Pinas KO, -140, or you got Schultz to win by sub, +325. -140 for the knockout. Chalky. Interesting. Schultz by sub, because I really feel as though this fight is super live to hit the ground. Of course, the fight is live to be on the feet because it's going to start there. And if Pinas unloads some bombs, this shit could be over quick. But if, Schultz gets to the back, this shit could be over quick. Under 2.5 is disgusting at -450, but it's high likely. It's like a lock type thing. I don't see this fight going over 2.5. I think this fight is pretty quick. Under a round and a half, -170, I'm going to agree with. And I'm going to say that we see the side of Schultz land the key takedowns. It's, how can I put it? Je ne sais quoi, the nervous call. Why is it a little nerve-wracking? because he's dealing with a heavy-handed savage on the opposite side. He could definitely be put to bed, but I'm gonna trust in the Schultz grappling over the Pinas boxing, and we'll find out. I mean, if you look at Tapology, everybody picking Pinas. I think it's a closer fight than the odds will have you believing, and I think it's a fight that ends violently. So may the best man win. We're going Schultz for the strangle. So ending violently, I think a submission is violent. We're going for him. Next fight on the card, we got fight number 2, Erik Silva versus Francis Marshall. What are we doing? Squash match, Francis Marshall. He is 1-3. His last 4, ugly, right? But to be fair, I thought he beat Myron Santos a year ago. Dennis Bazooka win there. Delgarian got him back before Delgarian started throwing fights and was actually kind of good. And then the Gomez split decision, I mean, shit, could have went his way. And then on the opposite side, you got Erik Silva, the 39-year-old prospect. What are we doing right now? Erik Silva's a sporadic striker, got some jiu-jitsu, but he doesn't have a chance here. He doesn't have a chance. Francis Marshall's a legitimate athlete. He's a, nearly 27-year-old prospect on the rise. He's got good wrestling. He's got good pressure boxing. He's got, I think, strong cardio. He's a submission ace, though. You're thinking in this fight, maybe his boxing gets him the win. And I could see him landing punches. And Erik Silva is not good on the feet. But I feel as though, don't be surprised when Marshall ragdoll Silva, beats him up a bit from top, and then strangles him cold. I mean, TJ Brown 3 years ago, which is only 2 fights ago for Silva, won by submission against him. And TJ Brown, was kind of just a relative bottom feeder UFC featherweight. He was a journeyman at best. I think Francis Marshall, he's got the prospect potential, even if he's had a mixed bag of results inside of the UFC. And I think he's back in a big way here and pulls off a pretty lopsided win. Now, to be fair, the odds for the fight fully agree. We'll bring up the odds here in a moment, but we got to bring up the fighters first. We got Silva weighing in, ready to rock. No trouble on the scale, by the way. It's no trouble actually throughout the whole card. Guys looking solid. To be honest, man, Erik Silva looks in shape. Long layoff, hasn't fought in 2 years, but he looks fit and ready to go after the leg injury against Naimov. Other side, Marshall, jacked, shredded, looks fucking ready. Come on. Francis Marshall should finish this fight. If Francis Marshall wins a decision here, that feels like a loss to me. Marshall's looking jacked, man. Marshall's in shape for this fight. And I think Marshall's going to do good work in this matchup. I think he's still a fun prospect to watch. And even though he's coming off of some rough, not necessarily rough moments, it really was a robbery. Coming off of a controversial loss, he should be able to get back on track in a big way against an 0-2 in the UFC, Erik Silva. I'm not going for no, 39-year-old prospect here. Looking towards the betting side of the fight, you're looking at minus 725 Marshall. So we're in the stupid territory for the lines. It's stupid. There's no other way to put it. Stupid. The lines are dumb. But even with dumb lines, we can find something. So Marshall is more so the submission ace. Him to win this fight via submission, plus 115. I think it's probable. You want to go more towards but what if he ground and pounds him? You can find inside distance. Now, I will tell you on Hard Rock, they have minus 225 or minus 250 now, I think, for the side of inside distance. Minus 325, minus 250. Around that range is what you're going to find for Marshall wins inside the distance. And then you also have the under 2.5 rounds in this fight sitting at minus 230. I anticipate Marshall to be able to stop Silva here. Him winning a decision is a detriment, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee like a quick stoppage. I could see him beating Silva up a bit, breaking him down, and maybe it's round 2. But I do feel like if it's not in the first 2 rounds for Marshall, kind of a travesty. He should win in the first 2 rounds. It should be a freaking washout, but it's minus 145 for that. So I don't really like it, man. I think the inside distance in a parlay could make sense. I know some people are worried about the Marshall gas. I think it's going to be fine in elevation. He looks in crazy shape. He's going to win this fight inside distance. I think obviously Marshall's a lock, but I also feel as though inside distance seems like a bit of a lock as well. I'm feeling solid about that. So the Francis Marshall side to win in a big way in what is the essence of a freaking squash match and a half. Next fight, Ernesto Kareckaite versus Regina Tarin. This is a new fight. Tarin stepping in for Sofia Montenegro on short notice. Last time Montenegro stepped in for her on short notice on the Contender Series against Jesla Cháirez. And now Tarin gets the call up to the UFC, and they give her Ernesto Kareckaite, and I'm so twisted with the prediction for this fight. Ah. 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 I'll go the Kareckaite veteran side, but I'm torn because Kareckaite is a queen of split decisions. But then I'm also like, well, she is the queen of split decisions. She's got good volume. She's got proven cardio. Tarin is finishing most girls she fights. Tarin could take Kareckaite down, but to be fair, Kareckaite's got good takedown defense. She got taken down like 3 out of 14 against Cagliari last time, 2 out of 11 against Boza in the fight before. So it's not like Kareckaite is just getting mauled, you know, taken down at every step. And Tarin's more like body lock takedowns. I feel like Kareckaite could fight that position off in the clinch well. And she's got pretty good punch volume. She has relatively good flurries. She's not heavy-handed. It's quick hands Kareckaite for me. I'm giving her the nickname. I don't care what she's choosing. It's Ernesto Quick Hands Kareckaite. What the fuck are we doing this heavy-handed? She don't knock people out. She's a split decision queen. Regina Tarin's a savage prospect, but 21, taking the fight on day's notice, was supposed to do a Muay Thai fight. So even with my argument, oh, she might look towards more grappling, she was scheduled for a Muay Thai fight yesterday and then took this opportunity. You know, there's a chance that the brain is very strike focused and she's fighting a striker. I see a close fight. Here's what I'll say. And this is why I'm actually twisted, because initially I'm picking Kareckaite, but here's why I'm very twisted. Mexico, low-ranked fight, underdog prospect in Mexico City. If it's a split fucking decision, they're not going to give it to Kareckaite. So she's been the queen of some split decisions. But to be fair, she's winning split decisions in her favor at the UFC Apex on Contender Series. At UFC 301, she loses in Brazil, clearly. And then against Cagliari, she gets it done at the Apex. But in venues, and she's lost, you know, down south before, taking some else. So now I'm thinking to myself, am I falling for the trap of Kareckaite here? Because it's going to be close, and she might deserve the decision at the end. But if it's a competitive fight, I feel like they might give it to Tarin. She's destroying girls, and Kareckaite is like a split decision queen. Fuck, man. Like, I know the styles of both, and you see me looking at the stats. I know what they bring to the table. I know that Tarin has good Muay Thai. She's got powerful punch. She's got heavy right hand. Spams the right hand a little bit. She's got good body lock takedown. She's strong from top position. That early Kareckaite pick is, it's ugly. It's fucking ugly, man. Let's look at the scales. Let's look at the scales, man. I'm very torn. There might be a flip. I don't know. So short notice fill in, catch weight fight 130. Tarin makes weight. There you go. 7-0 prospect. Kareckaite looking solid on the scale, pretty shredded up. 29.5 for her. No issues, right? Both girls on point. Face off between the ladies. Okay. You got Kareckaite a little bit larger, a little bit like more developed body. Look at the arms, right? A little bit more the muscularity, more back muscles. It's like you can tell Tarin is a 21-year-old prospect. Ah, killing me, bro. I'll go Kareckaite still. I can't flip. I can't bring myself to flip. I know she's got good 3-round cardio and high volume, and she's bigger. I feel like she's stronger. I know she might get robbed, though. So fuck the betting side. Okay? Like Kimbo Slice's old walkout. Fuck the other side. Fuck the betting side. Seriously. Not interested. Fuck no. Yeah. It's ugly, man. It's a weird one. Because there is a pathway for Tarin. And maybe Tarin's incredible, but I don't know, dude. I feel so twisted. Minus 180 for Kareckaite, the UFC veteran who was scheduled for this card to fight Sofia Montenegro, who's kind of similar to Regina Tarin, and I was picking her there. Plus 155 for Tarin. I'm going to stick with Kareckaite. I'm not going for an unproven prospect. Probably over 2.5 at minus 300. Fight ends in split or majority decision plus 375. I'll tell you this, though. Because we're in Mexico, okay, there might be a fucking robbery. Tarin wins by split or majority decision. Don't say I didn't tell you. If she ends up winning by split or majority decision, and you're thinking to yourself, damn, what the fuck, AG, you picked Kareckaite. Well, remember this. I said to you that at plus 1,000, this does not surprise me. I could see a robbery. If it's close, as I'm hearing thunder, holy shit, that scared me. Oh my God. Hear that? I don't know if my mic's picking that up. Fucking roar of a lion. I just think split or majority decision plus the thunder and the lightning strike before. This might be lightning striking on Tarin by split decision. Is this the universe telling me? Is this the universe telling me to go towards her? Wow. Plus 1,000. If you told me I have to bet on this fight, I'm doing Tarin split or majority decision. That's it. The pick might be Kareckaite, but the betting side, I will go Tarin split decision. Plus 1,000. That would be the only thing that interests me. And it's D-Gen, and it might not be the smartest of attacks, and it's not. But, you know, Tarin's a decent prospect. Kareckaite at times can be a little sluggish. Oh, my God, I'm feeling so torn. Talking about this fight, I'm legitimately feeling anxiety, dude. I'm like, will I feel better if I just pick Tarin as an underdog, or do I just trust in Kareckaite? You know, do you go anywhere in life being a little bitch and backing Kareckaite, who's a little feather-fisted, but she's got good flurries, and Tarin is going to be trying to land harder shots? And what if Tarin puts her on her back? What if Tarin has some moments? She's taking this fight in short notice from Mexico. We're at elevation. Kareckaite is in shape, but can she keep up the Mexican pace? I feel like that lightning strike is the MMA gods telling me. So give me Tarin by split decision. I'm pick flipping. I don't know. This is one of those fights. I'd rather just go underdog. I'll go Tarin split decision, and if I'm wrong, well, fuck it, I was right. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like the split decision at plus 1,000 is live. That feels like a 50% chance. The analysis for this one's hard, man, because Kareckaite got no power. Tarin has power, but you got no high-level fights. Kareckaite got good volume, but she's weak. Tarin's probably walking her down, landing the bigger shots. I'll go Tarin. I think if you ask me in 5 years who's better off in the UFC, I feel like it's Tarin. So I'm going to go with Tarin, but I'm fucking worried, man. I'm nervous. I don't want to talk about this fight anymore. I'm going to have a damn panic attack on the damn video, all right? Move on, for God's sake. Please let me. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Javier Reyes. I think Javier Reyes is a fraud. Douglas Silva de Andrade decision. I think you're going to be surprised at Reyes' hit ability. If you haven't watched tape on him, you don't know. Don't just watch the damn Contender Series blowout of Justin Torres. Go watch some other fights. Dude, it's hittable. Chin is literally like this. I'm telling you, he's going to get caught. Now, Douglas Silva de Andrade is not the biggest one-shot hitter, but I could see him landing some looping punches over the top. I can see him ripping some wide shit. I can see him winning some moments. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I think Reyes is going to shoot some single legs. Andrade should be able to fight him off. Andrade with some weird overhand punches to get through. It seems like a fight that's going to be like a 29-28 decision. I think Andrade is live to take 2 out of the 3 rounds, but he's a 40-year-old man. He's a 40-year-old man. I don't know if he's going to show up looking on point or not. I don't think Reyes is blowing him out the water in, a round. I think this fight at least goes over a round and a half. Andrade is known for a good chin. Never really been knocked out. He got a doctor stoppage loss to Jan after 2 rounds, and it's freaking Petr Yan, who's one of the best strikers, maybe on the damn planet. I think that Douglas Silva de Andrade shows out, and I think he's able to beat Reyes in a close fight. When I say show out, I'm not saying masterclass. I'm not saying knockout or destructive performance, but I think you're going to see Reyes is a flawed prospect, man. And overhand shots for Andrade are live. Reyes can crack still, but also going to be hit. And if Andrade's chin is holding up, moving up to 145 could end up being a good thing for him. Let's look at the scales, though. Let's get a read on how the fighters looked weighing in. Okay? Let's bring them up on the scale now. Let's see who we got first here. All right, we got Douglas Silva de Andrade. Dude, the golden oldie. Look at Douglas Silva de Andrade right now. The man might be nearly 41, but he is in high level shape. And at 145, I feel like he looks rejuvenated. And then we got Javier Reyes in shape too. He's coming in pretty shredded up. He's coming in ripped. But I'm telling you, he might be a bit of a bust. Busted prospect. There's the face off. And I think it's competitive. I mean, look at the side by side. Andrade looks fucking stocky, man. Reyes with the hand up in the air. Andrade staring him down. Reyes, the thing is, his style is to knock you out, beat you with a, pulverizing volume. If Andrade stands up to it, I could see him pulling off a surprise second and third round after getting maybe walked down a bit round one. Reyes slows down. Andrade lands some counters. Andrade maybe even takes him down. I'm going to go underdog. Douglas Silva de Andrade. I think he can pull off a surprise in this fight. It feels competitive to me. And I know he's, nearly 41 years of age, and he's fighting a guy who's coming off a big win on Contender Series, but it was a Justice Torres Contender Series win. And then let's not forget, 2 fights before, right? He lost to Chris McCarty. 2 fights before that, Lahian Douglas flatlined him. So he's taken some L's on the regional scene. I feel like this Andrade fight against a crafty vet, he could expose some of the flaws. Plus 200 for the OG Andrade. I'm going to go the Andrade side. Let's see. Andrade by decision. Silva de Andrade decision. Plus 425. I think it does end up going distance. Over a round and a half. Minus 220. Dude, that seems so live. It seems so live to go over a round and a half. And minus 220 is not crazy if you're looking to put it in like a 2 or 3 leg parlay. I think Andrade survives an early storm here from Reyes. I think he can capitalize and win later, but ultimately, even if he were to lose the fight, I don't think he's getting blown through in, a matter of minutes. I think it's going to be more of a drawn out fight. And, Andrade's last fight, he looked okay against Miles Johns, and Miles Johns is pretty good. Miles Johns going into a damn close decision with John Matsumoto. Granted, yeah, it's at 135. It's bantamweight, but it's not like Javier Reyes is like a hyper elite giant featherweight. Like, yeah, he's in shape. He's a little taller. I think we can see Andrade pull off a surprise with some overhand punches and capitalizing on that technical deficiency where Reyes being very hittable and leaving his chin up in the air. And even if it's not Andrade rocking him with anything, I think connecting clean, making him pay, fending off takedowns, and being able to go 3 hard rounds, I think he can surprise Reyes in this spot. So I'm going to go with the 40-year-old Savage, Douglas Silva de Andrade, to get back on track in a big way. He had 1 year and 8 months off, but I like it better at 145. And if there's any juice left in his career, it's got to be here at 145. Next fight, Christian Quiñonez versus Kris Moutinho. Listen, this should be dog wash. It shouldn't be close. It should be Quiñonez by knockout in the first round, really. The way that he strikes is nice. I mean, Quiñonez has a stiff jab, fast straight rights that follow. He's got good leg kicks. He's actually pretty light on his feet, and he moves well. And, he strings punches together nicely. He's a really solid, karate-esque kickboxer, that wide stance, so much better on the feet. Much more of a bladed stance, whereas Moutinho's kind of like that tight range boxing style, very hittable down the center line, kind of looping shots over the top. But I think Moutinho's going to be getting stung by Quiñonez here. I think Quiñonez is going to get a lot of straight punches off on the Moutinho chin. The way Moutinho's got to approach this fight is he's going to wrestle. I think he has to look to get Quiñonez to the ground, where Quiñonez has been flawed. Got submitted by Kyung Ho Kang in a big upset, and then he got ran over by Barcelos in his most recent fight, which was a long time ago. It was 2 years ago against Barcelos, but he's still young at 29. Quiñonez, not even 30 years old yet. I still think he's a prospect to keep an eye on. He's a good fighter. Christian Quiñonez is a good fighter. At least he's a good striker. And I still think he's got upside and some fights left. I don't think Kris Moutinho is a guy that sends Quiñonez packing. I think Quiñonez stops him. If you look at Quiñonez's fighting career, I mean, the dude's got 10 knockout wins to his credit. Does have 3 submission losses also, but 2 of them to UFC comp. And he still went into the 3rd round with Barcelos. And I'll be honest, bro, that Kyung Ho Kong fight was low-key a little fluky. So I think Moutinho's cooked. I think Quiñonez is going to knock him out. He's got 15 minutes to do it. I feel like he does it in 5 or less. I think it's got to be a first round KO, but it could go a little longer. And if we do get into the second round, I guess that's where the battle of wills will be tested. And I'll favor the Mexican fighter's cardio too, even if the fight ends up being a little more drawn out. I think that Quiñonez is able to mollywop a guy who, is ultimately just not really UFC level in Kris Moutinho. And I think Quiñonez should knock him out. And I think it should be in the first round. Quiñonez look good on the scale. He looks fucking intense, man. Scary tattoo on his damn chest and just ready for war. And I think this is a Mexican fighter that shows out on the card. There's Moutinho inked up as well. Little McGregor twist to him. The Portuguese Conor McGregor with green hair. There he is flexing out. Kind of a Sean O'Malley vibe. When he fought O'Malley, he went into the 3rd round, which I respect, but I think Quiñonez does more damage. In the fight after, he gets knocked out in the 1st round against the ancient man. What the hell was his name? Guido Canetti. My God. Guido Canetti, the throwback, the Argentine Italian from way back. I think it's a knockout loss coming from Moutinho for sure. Let's look at the face-off between the two. Let's feel the energy of the Savages. All right. We got heights kind of similar. Honestly, physiques kind of similar as well. I do think Quiñonez can get him out of there. He's not really like physically imposing in any way, but I think Quiñonez's hands should work in this fight. And he should be able to outbox Kris Moutinho and probably pull off a stoppage win. So I'm going to go Quiñonez, and I'm going to say he does actually get the knockout. As far as the money line odds, stupid territory once again. 7-1 favorite, Christian Quiñonez, plus 500, Kris Moutinho. Looking through the card at everything else. Let's see. Quiñonez by knockout feels right to me. I think that, with 15 minutes to do it, he will. Minus 125. I mean, I'll say this. I think it's a letdown if he doesn't win by knockout. If you like Moutinho for the shock factor, he pulls off the sub plus 2,200, but I'm going Quiñonez by KO. It's minus 190 for inside distance. I think that's live as well. I think Quiñonez is probably winning the fight in the first 2 rounds, and I'm expecting a knockout in the first 2 rounds. And I'll go as far as to say I think he's getting a first-round knockout, which obviously, if you're on the gambling side, it's more of a D-Gen attack, and it's not really at D-Gen odds, plus 250 for Quiñonez first-round KO. But I do think the knockout's going to hit, and I think Quiñonez getting his hand raised in a big way with a nice performance, a good knockout, and, a get back on track type of performance. Next fight on the card, the ladies going after it. It's Macy Chiasson versus Ailín Pérez. I'm going with the side of Macy Chiasson, and this has become a controversial pick for me because I'm calling her as my savage underdog lock. I think Macy can win. I think Macy looks in great shape. I think Macy's ready for 3 hard rounds at elevation. I think she's going to be better with the cardio. She's got the size advantage, the length advantage. Macy's got good close range elbows and knees too, which I like from her. She's got good long straight punches and kicks to the body. Ailín Pérez is a strong wrestler, grappler, pressure fighter, but Macy is not like some bum when it comes to defensive wrestling and grappling. Macy's pretty sound with grappling defense. And I know the Yana Santos fight, first 2 rounds were bad. She did get outstruck. She had a meh performance there. But I do think it was a bad out. It was a bad night. That 3rd round was spectacular. She destroyed Yana Santos round 3, but it's irrelevant. She lost the fight. She lost 2 in a row. Ailín Pérez on a nice win streak in the UFC and really, popping off right now as a contender at 135. But I think Macy Chiasson on championship weight is live for a surprise here. I'm not sold on Ailín Pérez yet. I know she can wrestle. I know she's got pretty good top control. But being at a big size disadvantage and a big reach disadvantage, I think Chiasson's striking is better than hers. I think Chiasson's defensive grappling is going to end up holding up and surprising some people here. I think Macy's going to end up winning a hard-fought decision, and I think the better cardio is on the Macy Chiasson side, and we'll see over the course of the 3 rounds and find everything out if it holds up like I'm expecting it to at elevation. maybe Ailín Perez's pressure wrestling, if she starts missing a couple of takedowns, starts to dwindle and Chiasson starts to have bigger moments. She might even hurt Ailín Perez with knees to the body and elbows on the inside. So I'm going to favor the length of Macy Chiasson. She had a bad 2025, but I still think there's some fight left in Macy, and I think she can win this one. Stylistically, it's a matchup I like for her because it's not like Macy is commonly ran over when it comes to grappling, and I don't think Ailín Perez is winning the kickboxing fight against Macy here. So I'm going to go Macy on the scorecards. I think she's going to get it in a competitive one against Ailín Perez. Now, looking towards the scales, Macy Chiasson coming in looking in better shape than she did last year. Pretty solid. You can see the visible abdominals looking lean, long, tall as hell for the weight class. 5'11's crazy for 135. She's in good shape. This is a true peak form Macy Chiasson. I know for a fact the training camp was good for this one. And I have doubts about the previous training camps. I know she said herself, like, the wife had the baby, the sleep schedule was off. I'm not going to say those excuses necessarily are absolutes, but there are things to consider. Subpar training camps and then two kind of meh performances. And then now headed into 2026 with all things dialed in properly. I think Macy's got some fight left in her. And I think the side of Ailín Perez might end up being a bit surprised there. There's the flex for Ailín Perez. She also looks pretty jacked and stocky, more of a stocky build, whereas Chiasson with the long, skinny build. I feel like that long, skinny build is built for the elevation, though. In Mexico City, Chiasson and Ailín facing off. Intense face-off between the two. You had Chiasson twerking a bit. You got Macy pressing forward. It was high energy. They're ready to go after each other. Both these ladies are ready to go to fucking war with one another. I think Macy can do it. I really believe it. I believe Macy can pull this shit out. I do. I think Macy Chiasson is going to be able to outwork Ailín Perez in this fight. I think the cardio will hold up. I think she's going to stop some takedowns. She's going to land some knees to the body and some elbows on the inside. She's going to frustrate Ailín Perez. And I think she's going to take this thing 2-1 on the judges' scorecards and pull off what will be a bit of the surprise of the night because everybody seems to think that Ailín Perez is a lock of locks here. And I guess simply, I just don't. As far as the odds, Macy's plus 160 as the underdog. Ailín Perez at minus 185. And then looking towards some of the prop options that are on the table. Over 2.5 for the ladies, probably at minus 260. I think my brain says Chiasson on the scorecards at plus 300. What's inside distance? Plus 410 if she were to win inside distance. I think Chiasson's going to get the nod on the judge's decision. That's what I think here. I think Chiasson is going to get the nod on the damn scorecards. I think she's going to fend off the grappling game. I think she's going to have some better moments in the striking. And at plus 300 as a, decision winner, Chiasson is going to end up having her name read at the end, getting it in a close one. And money line plus 160. I'm going to favor her. I think Chiasson can pull this one out. I'm going with the Chiasson underdog side in this spot. I think she's going to end up checking Ailín Perez, who hasn't fought the level of Chiasson yet. I know you're going to be like, oh, but Yana Santos and Ketlin Vieira and this and that and Irene Aldana. Trust me, Chiasson's got some fight left in her. I don't think it's over. And she's coming in peak shape. Aileen's going to be put to the test. This is seriously, like not a big jump, but I think Chiasson definitely better than Corral Hosa. And I'm going to favor Chiasson to pull off the W against Ailín in this one. Next fight, featured prelim of the night. We got Jose Medina versus Ryan Gandra. It's another fight that feels like a game set match. Gandra, big, heavy-handed boxing, power style. I mean, he should win, probably a knockout. Medina's not really UFC level. I would say he's on the slower side as far as striking goes. He's on the, mediocre side as far as grappling goes. And I'd say he's on like the slightly higher side as far as toughness goes, but let's not necessarily overrate his durability. Ateba Gautier killed him in the first round, and then Dushko Todorovic ran him over in the first round. Like, yeah, Zach Reese ended up taking him to the scorecards, but Zach Reese also has fight IQ issues. And then Magomed Gaziasulov beats him by decision. Gaziasulov couldn't finish a fucking sandwich, Ryan Gandra is a dangerous pressure boxing Brazilian. And I think that his striking so much better than Medina's. I think he's going to be landing big looping shots. I think he's going to walk forward with aggressiveness. And he probably puts Medina away in the first round. Could potentially threaten with some grappling too, because Gandra does have a bit of a ground game. It should be a total disparity in skill between the two. It should be UFC level fighter versus simply not UFC level fighter. Let's look at the scales, and we'll bring up first the side of Medina. Listen, he wants to win. He's in solid shape, but he's just not high level. He's not. Dana White signed him based on his toughness against Gadzhi Asulov. Then Gandra on the opposite side looked pretty solid on the scale, ready to rock and roll. Brazil should pull this one out against Bolivia in this spot. We'll look at the face-off between the two. Medina was fucking animated, ready to go after it. Both guys smiling at each other. I think that Gandra wins. If Gandra loses, man, that's a sell of sells. He looked pretty dangerous on Contender Series. I think Medina is going to be on a 5-fight losing streak after Saturday night. And I think Gandra is probably winning by knockout. Some weird world where Gandra blows his wad in round 1. Medina just survives. And somehow Medina wins the second and third round and pulls off like an absolutely shocking upset will make me fucking laugh. And, you know, we're in Mexico City, so there's a possibility of some weird results, especially with fighters that aren't necessarily known for the cardio. But I do think Gandra should be able to stop Medina. I think inside distance makes sense, but I feel like he could end up going for the sub side as opposed to looking for the knockout. Minus 725 Gandra, plus 525 for Jose Medina. And then looking towards the inside distance, because I do think inside distance is sensible for this spot right here. Inside distance for the side of Gandra. Where the fuck is it? Where the hell is it, bro? Am I flying through it too fast? Gandra wins inside of the distance, minus 240. I do think he wins inside distance. Gandra by KO is option A, plus 130. And then option B would be Gandra by sub. More likely it's a knockout. His style is violence. He's a pressure fighter. It's the featured prelim. It's going to be a loud Mexico City crowd. They're all going to be swarming in, at least by the time of this featured prelim. And I anticipate, you know, both guys being swayed into a brawl. Like, trust me, it's going to be a slugfest, and Gandra probably knocks him out. So I'll say Gandra by KO is the most likely outcome. And I do expect these guys to probably bite down on their mouthpieces and fucking slug. And I'm going to say Gandra finds the chin, puts Medina away, and yeah, goes 1-0 to start his UFC career off. Listen, he's a decent prospect at 185, 30 years old. You know, Medina on the other side, 34. Nah, it's the Gandra side all day. Let's jump to the main card. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you're enjoying. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and be sure to hype the video as well. We got Santiago Luna versus Angel Pacheco. It's a squash match and a half. Santiago Luna is a violent man. He's a pressure fighter. Dangerous with his hands, dangerous with his grappling, very athletic and sharp. Angel Pacheco's cooked in this fight. Santiago Luna is going to start fast, and he's going to run through Angel Pacheco. Okay? Angel Pacheco doesn't have much of a shot. He's a lot more slow twitch. He's at a big boxing disadvantage. He's going to be at a wrestling disadvantage, physicality disadvantage. Overall, every disadvantage. He's fighting a Mexican fighter in Mexico. Listen, Pacheco's got some heart. He's tough. He's never been finished before, but just because he hasn't been finished before doesn't mean he won't be finished here. He just got dominated by Colin Loughran in his last fight. Granted, it was nearly 2 years ago, but Colin Loughran dominated him, okay? Santiago Luna is way better than that level. I think Santiago Luna is one to watch here at 135. He's coming off the sick win over Kwang Lee. He got dropped early and then knocked him out in the first round. It's all gas, no break style. And he's going to outpace Pacheco in a pretty big way here. Let's look at the two weighing in. And, you know, you can see the energy from Santiago Luna first and foremost as he gets ready to rock and roll. Dude's coming out with fucking aura, bro. Got the shades on, got the rosary around his chest. Also, he got the, come on, the rosary, lock. Faith-based fighter, lock it in. We saw it with Medich last card. Come on. I think same type of thing is going down here. There's Angel Pacheco. Angel Pacheco, bro, I wouldn't be surprised, like, you know, if he was a nurse on the side. Gives me very, like, male nurse vibes. And I don't mean that in a mean way. If you're a male nurse, God bless you. But that's what he looks like to me. I see him in scrubs and shit. That's the vibe I'm getting. He's got the glasses on. He's checking the vitals and stuff like that. But, kicking the ass of a dangerous Mexican prospect just don't seem like the likely outcome between these two. The face-off between the two of them, the Mexican looking confident, Pacheco and him kind of smirking at one another. I mean, listen, it's Santiago Luna all day. It's you can't pick Pacheco in this spot. And the odds are crazy wide, right? It's minus 700 for Luna, plus 500 for Pacheco. It's a Mexican gimme. It's a Mexican gimme fight. Don't get it twisted. That's exactly what this is. The Mexican gimme. They're tossing it to you like, hey, you want to take your dub? Yeah. It's spreading though. Minus 800 now. Holy shit. Let's see. Over 1.5 plus 105, under 1.5 minus 125. What's Luna inside distance? Because he's a finisher. Minus 215. I do think he's the first guy to stop Pacheco. KO plus 160, sub plus 180. So let's think about something. Santiago Luna got a nice knockout in his UFC debut, and he also got a nice knockout in the fight prior. But with the power striking, he is known for submission skills. Club and sub is not a crazy outcome in this spot. I could see him landing some big shots on the feet and hurting the Pacheco side, getting this fight to the ground, and then finding the strangle. So plus 180 for sub is live there. Pacheco's chin is pretty fucking good. And Luna landing big shots into getting to a dominant position, beating him up, and then choking him out seems sensible, as opposed to like hoping Luna's the first guy to chin a very durable Pacheco, which is a lot easier said than done. But ultimately, it's not an impossibility. That's why I land at, inside distance at minus 215, making a lot of sense if you're looking to keep yourself on, the safer side of the prop betting side. It's still prop betting, but you're betting knockout or submission as opposed to one or the other. So, Luna inside distance at minus 215 is also pretty damn live here. He's a disgustingly wide money line favorite, but for a good reason. He's in a complete mismatch. He should mollywop Angel Pacheco. This fight should not be close at all. Next one, Imanol Rodriguez, Kevin Borjas. So my pick is Imanol Rodriguez, but I do think you got to put some respect on Borjas' striking. Borjas is a sharp kickboxer. He's got good leg kicks. He's got good boxing too. He can rip punches pretty quickly and he's got like solid combinations. I like Kevin Borjas. I think Kevin Borjas is a good fighter. I mean, I picked him as an underdog here against Victor Diaz. Obviously, he's had some woes in the UFC, but a decent fight against Joshua Van. Alessandro Costa destroys him, pulls off a big upset against Ronaldo Rodriguez, and then gets completely shut down by a tall and lanky kickboxer in Sumadarji. Now they give him the 5'4" powerhouse Imanol Rodriguez. I think Imanol is beating him, and I think Imanol could have success in striking, but to think it's just game, set, match, knockout, I don't know about that. I really feel like Imanol is going to wrestle here. And I think Imanol is going to show the ground game, and I think he can wear on Borjas and beat him up from top position into a submission. I like Imanol by sub in this fight as opposed to going for the knockout. Could he land the perfect shot and put Borjas away? Sure. But Borjas is a pretty good stand-up fighter. And if you don't got a big range advantage, just keeping him at bay, I don't know, man. Borjas never won a fight by submission, has one submission loss. And then I look at Imanol and you're thinking to yourself, oh, but he's only got one submission win. But it doesn't mean he couldn't get it in this one. I could see him having some striking moments into the takedown, into the back take. I think we see Imanol Rodriguez show us the ground game. And I think Imanol is going to get this thing by submission. That's the side that makes the most sense to me. I've been feeling it all week. Imanol by sub. And you're going to see in a moment, those odds are pretty wide for the sub side. But first, let's bring the fighters up on the scales. We got Borjas, who looks in pretty decent shape. He's ready to go. He's a good striker. You know what you get with Borjas? You're going to have a solid stand-up game. You got nice leg kicks. You got good movement. Borjas with a range advantage too. 4-inch reach advantage. His striking is going to be hard to get past. Imanol on the other side looks decent on the scale. I got to fucking zoom it up a little bit here. Ready to go. No crazy notes to be had, but let's bring up the face-off between these two where I do have, I'd say, a bit of a note. You can see that Borjas has a pretty good height advantage on him. 5'5" to 5'4", might be more like 5'5" to 5'3". 68-inch reach to 64. Kevin Borjas is a legit kickboxer. I really think Imanol Rodriguez needs to wrestle here. Should wrestle. Not saying he couldn't land power shots in close range and he couldn't have moments, but I think the takedown is the pathway to even more striking success if he's unsuccessful in finishing this fight on the ground. Now, Imanol is a really big favorite. You're looking at the odds minus 450 for Imanol Rodriguez, Borjas at plus 350. I think this fight should be like more like, plus 200 maybe for the side of Borjas, even plus 150. Like, I think the odds could be a bit closer. At open, the odds were minus 210 to plus 180. Like, that makes a lot of sense. Now they've spread a bit because people believe in him and all, and he's going to most likely win. But I could see this fight going over 1.5, which is like minus 165 range. I think that makes sense. And then I'm thinking to myself, Imanol wears on Borjas, beats him up a bit from top, shows the ground game. Imanol by sub, dude, plus 500. That makes the most sense to me. I know he could get a knockout. The knockout prop is only plus 115, though. And Borjas' striking is good. That's his best arsenal. Inside distance, minus 135. You want to cover both ends? Minus 135 inside distance. I would much rather play than knockout at just plus 115. So you could go Rodriguez, ITD, or you going for the big plus money. Rodriguez by submission is calling me. I think he's going to be able to get the back, and I think he's going to be able to strangle Borjas. I think that's a smart game plan. Showcase the wrestling skills, showcase some ground and pound, and then soften Borjas up into the sub. That to me is the high IQ game plan. I think Imanol Rodriguez is going to come in with a solid game plan here. And I'm expecting this sub to be the way to go. So I'm going Imanol by submission. I think he's beating Borjas, but it's not just going to be a blowout striking. It's going to be him being the MMA fighter, taking this fight to the ground and getting the submission over a guy who doesn't have much of a ground game. So yeah, Imanol Rodriguez via submission seems like the A side to me, especially at plus 500. Next fight, Edgar Cháirez versus Felipe Bunes. Cháirez is going to beat Bunes' ass. Cháirez is going to beat Bunes' ass, okay? Cháirez is a dangerous striker. Cháirez got nasty elbows, nasty boxing too. His hands are really sharpening up. He's precise and he's fast and he's got strong leg kicks. He's got long arms too. And Bunes is a pretty long guy at 5'7", but a 2-inch reach advantage for Cháirez in this one. I think about damage on the feet from Cháirez into the submission. Like, this is a club and sub type of spot on the Cháirez side for me. Bunes is a decent jiu-jitsu practitioner. The bread and butter of his game is jiu-jitsu. He's a submission threat. But this is not Jose Johnson who's just going to give you his arm. Edgar Cháirez has really good submissions. You look at his fighting career, dude has 8 wins by sub. And he has striking power too. But the club and sub is kind of the A side here. I think he can hurt Bunes on the feet. He's going to be a lot sharper with his hands. I think he's going to light Bunes up. And then I think he's going to end up snatching his neck and strangling him. So I like Cháirez to win this fight by submission. I think he's going to showcase those ground skills and specifically those submission skills after dropping some hammers on Bunes earlier in the fight and hurting him on the feet. He's going to get him to the mat, and that's where he's going to thrive and shine. The Cháirez sub side seems like the A side to me in this matchup here. Now, of course, we'll look at the odds in a moment. They're wide for Cháirez, but not as wide as some of the other favorites on the card. We'll first bring up Bunes. Prayer hands. He's praying for the victory here, and honestly, he's going to need it because he is a 36-year-old prospect who's 14-8, versus Cháirez at 30. Granted, 12-6, not the best record ever, but a guy whose literal UFC losses are the elites only. Joshua Van and Tyra. Cháirez could be a top 10 fighter. He's got a skill set that I think is top 15 level. Cháirez looks good and ready to go. He's intimidating as fuck too. And in Mexico, not good for Bunes. Not good for Bunes. There's the face-off between the two of them. Cháirez just got that cold-blooded killer vibe to him. My God. And Bunes seems like a sportsman with his nice UFC hat. Oh, it's Cháirez fucking him up. Cháirez is going to hurt him, and then Cháirez is going to strangle him. We're going for the Cháirez side to get this thing done. Inside of the distance, and I do think the submission finish, but of course, after some damaging strikes. Minus 310 for Cháirez. Plus 260 for Bunes. The odds for this damn fight, I know you're like, they're wide, but on most cards, they're wide, but on this card, minus 310 is not bad. On this card, minus 310 is close money, it feels like, you know? Plus 260 Bunes. I like Cháirez's chances, man. I think the fight does go under 2.5 at minus 125. I think Cháirez inside distance makes a ton of sense here. So you see him minus 160, but I've seen it on Hard Rock at minus 115 for Cháirez to win by finish. And I do think he finishes. So something if you're on Hard Rock. And then looking towards submission win for Cháirez around plus 210, might be a little wider on some spots towards plus 260, plus 275. I think the club and sub makes a lot of sense. But obviously inside distance kind of covers you on both ends. I like the inside distance lines a lot. I think inside distance is a smart way to play it when you see a finisher. And Cháirez should get this finish. But I will say, like, beating up Bunes and then eventually submitting him, that seems like an Edgar Cháirez way to win this fight. So we're going with the Cháirez side to do some damage and ultimately force Bunes into submission. Should be a pretty clear-cut skill set gap and mismatch between the two of them. Cháirez for the W. Next fight on the card, we got the featured fight of the night. Daniel Zellhuber versus King Green. I'm going Daniel Zellhuber. I think Zellhuber's kicks are going to be a big difference maker. He's, got the big-ass reach advantage, too. 6'1" to 5'10", 77-inch reach to 71, but that leg length. Zellhuber with body kicks, teeps to the body, roundhouse kicks to the body, leg kick attacks, stiff jabs from the outside. Zellhuber's long-range striking is going to give Bobby Green some serious fits, man. But I'll tell you this. The problem with Zellhuber is his boxing is mediocre. He doesn't have much punching power. He's a little bit stiff. There's not a lot of head movement. I don't think King Green is going to pull a Michael Johnson and tune Zellhuber up and end up dropping him and stealing this decision. But, there's some things about Zellhuber that are light red flags. I do think in Mexico, though, Zellhuber will be back in a big way. He did lose at Noche against Ribovics, and I had Ribovics as a dog in that one, but I was with everybody. I thought Zellhuber was going to dog walk Michael Johnson in a big comeback type of fight. Instead, he gets shocked. Zellhuber beats King Green, a nearly 40-year-old King Green. The kicks are going to be a difference maker. And watch for the head kicks because King Green keeps those hands low. And if Zellhuber drops, some nasty ones to the body and then sets something up high, I could see King Green's light shut off from a head kick. Also, Zellhuber's got nice front headlocks, the Anaconda, the Darce, the Gilly. So watch for that with those long arms. If Green ends up under Zellhuber, we could end up seeing Zellhuber snatching a neck. Inside of the UFC, he does only have that one submission finish. Everything else has been decisions, and it was the Christos Yagos win. I do think Zellhuber is technically able to out-kickbox Green, and he should probably win by a decision, which is not the fun side of it, but I don't know. Like I said head kick KO actually earlier in the week. And I think head kick is possible. It's just, will Zellhuber pull the trigger on the high kick? Will he finally get it? He's 26. King Green past his prime. I could see Zellhuber landing that fucking head kick. I guess I got to stick with my original call of him finding the head kick. But I'm a realist. It could be a submission. But honestly, it's probably live for a decision too. There's King Green flexing it out on the other side. He looks in good shape. King Green's getting out kickboxed here. It's just a matter of, is he able to survive the full three? There's the face-off between the two of them. Good height and reach advantage for Zellhuber, which I think plays in handy with the distance strikes. But to be fair, King Green coming in shape for sure. He's not here to lose. And his boxing pressure is tough, and I can see him landing some shots on Zellhuber. I'm telling you, Zellhuber's a little slow in the pocket. And not a lot of head movement. So King Green could potentially bombs away some straight shots on him and end up busting Zellhuber up. And this fight could end up being a lot closer than the minus 500 odds have you believing here. Plus 375 for Green on the opposite side. The lines are hideous for this one. I do think Zellhuber wins, but these lines are ugly, man. Ugly lines. Minus 400 now, so it's come down a bit. I do think Zellhuber pulls it off, but 4-1 odds. Let's see. Where is the sneaky side? So Zellhuber decision plus 175. A typical Zellhuber decision win. He's so fucking disappointing, though, because I really feel like this is his chance to get a highlight. Plus 160 for KO, and then plus 400 by submission. Past his prime, King Green gets kicked in the face. Does he drop, though? Does he drop? That's what's worrying me. I think the high kicks of Zellhuber are a big weapon. And I think setups with a lot of body and leg kicks And then I do think Zellhuber could land the head kick on him. It's just he hasn't found it in the UFC. But outside of the UFC, Zellhuber does have knockouts. It's not like he isn't a knockout guy. Dude's got 7 KO wins to his credit. It's just in the UFC, decisionator mostly, and then the submission side just once. A past this prime King Green could get caught, though. He really could. I'm like nervously picking head kick KO. I could see it, but it's such like a mystical call. I think Zellhuber wins, should outstrike Green, and maybe even forces Green to grapple, which could be good for Zellhuber because then I think he could snatch a neck. At plus 400, though, like, again, I like sub lines. I would rather bet plus 400 sub as opposed to betting the plus 160 knockout or even the plus 175 decision. I'd rather chase the submission line and hope that Zellhuber finds a chance to, get his arms wrapped around the neck of King Green, which I think they could. And I think he could end up pulling off the surprise sub, especially if he's having some striking success, frustrating King Green, and then forcing him to wrestle. So the Zellhuber side is the pick side. Next fight's the co-main event. It's Marlon Vera versus David Martinez. I'm going with David Martinez. I can't pick Cheeto low-volume Vera. Not happening. He loses fights because he's just too low volume. David Martinez is a pretty quick kickboxer. He's got really snappy kicks. He's actually got close-range boxing flurries, which I like. He rips some punches, moving people backwards. And Marlon Vera on the other side is very much like 1-2 shot at a time, whereas I could see Martinez capitalizing with flurrying hooks in range, and I could see him cracking Cheeto Vera. And Vera gets uncomfortable when you back him towards the cage and you start blitzing those flurries together. That's where you can find success against Cheeto Vera. Vera has a nice reach advantage. The stiff jab from Vera that drops a hobby could be effective here, but Martinez has pretty good movement, and I think he's going to be hard to connect clean on, especially when it's not combinations to set it up. Vera's kicks are nice, but I think Martinez's kicks are nicer. Martinez faster on his feet, a higher volume and output guy, and showed good cardio against Rob Font, pushing a big pace round 3 and even dropping Rob Font towards the very end of that fight. I think David Martinez pulls this one out. I think he outworks Cheeto Vera in the spot. I think he's probably able to secure the decision. Vera's never been knocked out before, but he has been uncomfortable on the feet. And like I could see Martinez landing some big shots. Could he put Cheeto Vera away? Could he be the guy to finish Cheeto? Kind of like Dan Ige last week. Had never been finished. Then he gets spinning fucking back kicked in the face and Melky puts him away. Martinez has 10 knockout wins. Martinez is a knockout puncher. And he's a dangerous kicker too. He's a finishing style. He's got the ability to win decisions, but his style is finish and it's pressure and it's damaging shots and it's breaking people down. Let's bring up both the fighters on the scales here. We got David Martinez, kind of looking like Daniel Marcos with the half bleached or whatever, half red hair, channeling some type of supervillain vibe to this fight here. And then on the opposite side, you got Cheeto Vera. Dude, he just looks like Marlon Vera now. He don't even look like Cheeto anymore. That's just Marlon Vera. He used to be a, title contender. He's falling off his rocker, man. Cheeto looked bad on the scale to me. Something telling me Cheeto's past it. And then there's the face-off. It was an intense face-off, but I don't know, man. Cheeto just seems past his damn prime. It's a very past his prime feel. 33, 1-4 across his last 5 fights. And the title shot against O'Malley wasn't deserved. His last impressive win was the Dominic Cruz knockout in 2022. Cheeto's best days are behind him, man. Whereas Martinez, 27, he's got the fucking world by the balls right now. And I think he's definitely the prospect to watch with a good striking arsenal. We'll look towards the odds. Again, it's a minus 310 money line for David Martinez, similar to Edgar Cháirez. Because of this card, that actually looks pretty good. Because all the minus 5 to 700 favorites, minus 310 may as well be minus 150 on this damn card with how I'm feeling about it. Now, they want you to believe it's definitely going over 2.5, but at minus 400, I don't know. I think it does. That's my initial logical pick because of Cheeto's durability. But I would definitely hedge yourself with Martinez by knockout because he's got 10 KOs. around plus 575 to plus 650 with a clear-cut speed advantage on Cheeto, and I think the better boxing and the higher volume striker, there's a possibility that he's able to back Cheeto up and drop some big blitz and flurries on him. So, like, it's one of those fights where if you're looking for an attack, you're not going to bet Martinez by decision at minus 215. It's very doubtful that you're going to throw down on over 2.5 straight. Maybe you're putting that in a parlay, but then you could hedge yourself with plus 575 round, even plus 650, Martinez to win by knockout and end up surprising Cheeto with a big blitz, and he traps him against the cage and he drops bombs on him. You have to recognize with Martinez at 27, how much better is he since his last fight? 5 months ago, he put it on Rob Font. And that was a fight where he was not supposed to be fighting Rob Font. He was supposed to be on the card fighting Kwang Lee. Gets the short notice fill-in chance against Rob Font and absolutely outdogs him. Now, 5 months later, scheduled to fight Cheeto Vera. Confidence has to be sky high. He's now proven he can beat a top-level guy, and yeah, past his prime top-level guy, but a top 15 guy for years in Rob Font. And now they give him Cheeto Vera, who's coming off the split decision, lost to Eamon Zahabi, and I would say David Martinez is better than Eamon Zahabi. I'd pick David Martinez to beat Eamon Zahabi, too. I think David Martinez is beating Cheeto Vera. Probably a hard-fought decision, but I don't know, like decision, but knockout is live with the hands, and he could end up dropping some flurries on Cheeto towards the cage and trapping him with ripping shots and end up putting his lights off. I don't think that's a crazy take at all. So David Martinez to get it done. He should beat the past his prime Cheeto Vera in this fight. Let's jump to the main event. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, and hyping the damn video. It's Brandon Moreno versus Lawner Kavanagh. My pick is Brandon Moreno. Of course, former world champion, longtime staple of the top 5 of the UFC flyweight division, and really always in contention. Just fought Tatsuro Taira in a #1 contender fight last time. Yes, he got stopped by Taira, but Taira is a monster on the ground. And the first guy to really maul Brandon Moreno there. Lawner Kavanagh is a slick striker coming off of a loss to Charles Johnson. He was knocked out. Round 1, Lawner Kavanagh looked world-class, and his offensive striking is really dangerous. Nasty kicks to the body, fast punches. My God, precise on the feet. Brandon Moreno is a good defensive boxer, though. Brandon Moreno has that tight Mexican boxing guard. He's got stiff jabs, nice crosses that he follows them up with, good body kicks, good wrestling, good pressure, good chin, good cardio. Nobody's flatlined Brandon Moreno before, and Kavanagh is going to need a knockout. He was winded in round 2 against Charles Johnson. A little body work against Kavanagh and a little wrestling. Next thing you know it, the gas tank bar went to 0 fast, and he ends up getting violently knocked out by Charles Johnson. Now they give him Brandon Moreno on a short notice call, and they do it in Mexico City at Elevation. Moreno should be a lock in this fight. Brandon Moreno is going to be able to outwork Lawner Kavanagh. This fight reminds me of the Kai Kara-France fight, but at least Kai Kara-France in that spot had a shitload of high-level experience. Lawner Kavanagh has 2 UFC wins, decision over Jose Ochoa, where he was hurt to the body bad in round 2, competitive but clear decision win over Felipe Dos Santos, who was hot garbage, and Charles Johnson, who flatlined him. And he had big moments in round 1, but Johnson just got violently knocked out by Alex Perez in round 1 as well. So let's not overrate that. Yeah, Johnson's a hard guy to put away, and Perez pulled it off. Wow, and Kavanagh had moments, but he still got chinned. I think Brandon Moreno fights with a high IQ game plan. I think he knows Kavanagh round 1 is going to be an explosive puzzle to deal with. Stay smart round 1. Let him explode on you. Work some straight punches. Attack with some kicks to the body. Mix in some takedowns. Even if the takedowns are defended, force a bit of wrestling. Force Kavanagh to defend the positions, and the gas tank bar will dwindle, right? Start getting some body kicks off. The Moreno body kicks are going to be a big factor in this fight. And I think come round 2, Kavanagh is going to be at 70%. Come round 3, he's going to be at 40%. And I think Brandon Moreno, even if the wrestling success early is not there, it's successful to threaten with the wrestling and force Kavanagh into a defensive position, also to throw his striking rhythm off, and also then to dwindle the gas by forcing him into an area where he's not at his most comfortable. He's a striker. Then Moreno's striking could start working for him. I do think it's going to be over some time, probably 10, 15 minutes. Moreno will find himself in a dominant position on the ground. And I think he's going to be able to beat Kavanagh up with some ground and pound, take Kavanagh's back. And I think a tired Lawler Kavanagh is getting rear naked strangled. I'm going to go Brandon Moreno to win inside distance. I think submission, but I think inside distance also makes a lot of sense. 25-minute fight at elevation. I do not trust in Lawler Kavanagh to have the cardio to survive against a former world champ and a 5-round fight specialist in Brandon Moreno. And I think Moreno was still looking pretty good against the likes of Urseg and Albazi. It's not time to write Moreno off against a fun prospect. Kavanagh will eventually have his time, but at 26 and coming off a loss, this is not the fight to break into the top 5 for him. It's not going to happen. He's not going to knock Brandon Moreno out early, and that's what he has to do. And I think Moreno's going to fight this matchup smart. I don't think he's going to overlook Kavanagh because he lost to Charles Johnson. I think he's going to respect what he did in round 1, and Moreno will approach this fight with respect for Kavanagh's game. And I think a technically smart, high IQ game plan for Moreno with some long-range boxing, with avoiding the big explosive blitzes, being defensive, tying up with Kavanagh, looking to wrestle him a bit, and then working that body whenever he gets the chance, whether it's knees to the body, whether it's kicks to the body, or even potentially some close-range punches to the body, that will force Kavanagh to retreat a bit. And when Kavanagh starts getting hit, you saw it against Charles Johnson, especially to the body, that offensive effectiveness drops. And his defensive flaws start to show themselves. He's all gas, no brakes going forward. But when Moreno starts firing back, and if he doesn't wilt early, which I don't believe he will, Kavanagh will start to break. And I think Moreno will finish him. So I'm going Brandon Moreno by submission, but ultimately the better bet is probably inside distance. We'll talk about the lines here in a moment. Moreno to get it done, though. Moreno to get it done. He's back in a big way. Let's check the fighters out on the scales here. We got Lawler Kavanagh with the hand up to the sky, looking in good shape. Listen, this is his big spot. This is the big chance. Looks good on the scale. Looks ready to go. Respect to him. Big opportunity here. Big pay jump here. Goes from a, fighter on the rise, prelim type fighter to a fight night main event against the former world champ. Moreno looked damn good on the scale too. Moreno's still in shape, man. Moreno's still ready. And then you got the size advantage for the Brandon Moreno side too, a little bit taller. Kavanagh's fit though, but he's the young prospect at 26. He's not going to get Moreno. Moreno's also got the range advantage, which I like. Let's look towards the betting side of this fight. Money line odds for the matchup. -190 for Brandon Moreno. -190. You don't even got 2-1 on Moreno? It's kind of a steal. +165 for Lawler Kavanagh. Dude, I think Moreno's going to do it. I think Moreno's going to do it. I believe it. Let's load everything in here. Under 4.5 rounds, if you think so, +110. I feel like Moreno's going to get a stoppage. Moreno to win inside distance, +165. It could end up being some ground and pound and him stopping the side of Kavanagh. But it also could be that sub call. 3-1 Moreno by submission. I think sub is live. Could it be knockout? Sure, but I think sub is live. And if you're on Kavanagh, you got to be banking on an early KO. +500 Kavanagh knockout if you happen to be on the opposite side. Though I anticipate many are not. Brandon Moreno at -190 is like kind of money lineable. Definitely 2-leg parlayable. And it has to be a confident pick for me on this card for a main event where I see clear advantages for a former world champion against a good prospect. Brandon Moreno should get back in a big way here against Lawler Kavanagh. And I do think he's going to get the stoppage in Mexico City. So I like that inside distance side. But if you don't want to risk betting inside distance or anything and you were attacking a money line, -190, you could go straight or you could 2-leg parlay it or more, whatever you decide to do. At the end of the day, I'm just telling you my opinion. And you got to see where your research lines up and tells you what to do. But I do feel as though it's Brandon Moreno's night in Mexico City, all right? At home in Mexico, Moreno's a different level. And now you got elevation for a 5-round fighter, a proven 5-round fighter, and Brandon Moreno against a guy in Lawler Kavanagh who gassed last time against Charles Johnson and got knocked out violently in round 2. It's Moreno all day. So my prediction for the main event, Brandon Moreno, I'm going to say submission around the 3rd round, but possibility of a ground and pound TKO. And I definitely feel like that inside distance at plus 165, if you are on the gambling side, eye catching for sure. Moreno to win it in the main event. Those are the picks for the card, but I'm not done yet. I want to discuss some of the parlays. Okay, so I'm looking at some of the parlays, and Vera Martinez over 2.5. It's so ugly. Schultz Pinas under 2.5. I like. It's like I'm thinking to myself after doing Propaholics Thursday and us deep dive and everything. Some other thoughts started crossing my mind. I do like a lot that is here, especially like the straight fighter plays and like Schultz Pinas under 2.5 or under 1.5 makes a lot of sense. Moreno Cháirez minus 112, incredibly live. Cháirez Marshall Luna minus 145. It should definitely happen. But there's some other fights. The trash can parlay. Marshall, Quiñonez, Gandra. Live. Chiasson decision. Schultz sub. Quiñonez KO. Risky, ballsy. You're a fucking wild man. But I'm here to mix some things up. Because I'm thinking to myself, after everything we've seen, what are some spots that won't surprise me? Okay? I think an over 1.5 for Imanol Rodriguez and Kevin Borjas feels really fucking live. And I also think Brandon Moreno is going to win. Just those two together is plus 146. I also feel like Cháirez, very low chance of selling. Those three plus 225. And if you also like the first fight of the night, Pinas and Schultz, to go under a round and a half, you're looking at plus 395, nearly plus 400. And at some spots, I'm sure it's plus 400. So a little alternate action 4-leg for you real quick, just to read off. Make sure you're listening and sticking around because, of course, I'm dropping more heat. I probably should have shown it on the screen, but it's all good. It wasn't destined to be shown, all right? It was hidden. It was hidden behind the wall of greatness, okay? And then if you want to go like D-Gen propping it up and chase some crazy shit, you could go with like Imanol Rodriguez by sub. You're like, yo, that's the side that I'm feeling. Let me go wild man out here and let's make it happen. And then if you want to try and play it a little wild, who do I want to put in? The knockout props, I don't know. I'm like, I missed the sub prop. Maybe if you want to be a fucking freak, you go Martinez on the KO prop plus 5,900. Then if you went Moreno to win, just inside distance, absolute DJ shit, plus 17,000. But if Martinez doesn't knock out Cheeto, obviously you'd be pretty pissed off. So you can just remove that. If you ballsy and believe in Imanol by sub and Moreno getting a stoppage, live in your face to win right there. Then you could go if you think, yo, Cháirez, I think he's going to get the finish too, but I don't want to chase him getting it done by a knockout or a sub, plus 3,000. But you do want to go sub. You're like, yeah, man, I believe in the sub side. Let's go. Then you got plus 8. You see how crazy shit can get? Obviously, Imanol Rodriguez, if you don't want to play him by sub, I fully get it because it's a fat line. Plus 977, though. Cháirez sub, Moreno inside distance. But if you don't even want to run it like that, and you're like, listen, I like Cháirez and Moreno, but I would rather just go inside distance because I see what you're saying about finishes. Plus 429. Moreno inside distance, Cháirez inside distance. You're not chasing anything too crazy, but you got the high likelihood of finishing sides on everything. And is there any other inside distance? I mean, Marshall is live to win ITD as well. Marshall inside distance, now you're at plus 649. And then from there, if you said, fuck it, I'm going to have faith in an over 1.5, I'm going to say Imanol Borjas goes a little longer, plus 1148. And if you're like, yo, I even got faith too with you on this Schultz under a round and a half here, plus 1798. D-Gen. The safer shit we already wrote down. If you want to go like, oh shit, I think David Martinez beats a wash Cheeto. I think Moreno shows out against Lawner Kavanagh. And you're like, you know what? I think Cháirez handles Bunes' bum ass. Plus 166. We're going chalky as fuck. Yeah, Santiago Luna should win. Plus 211. But it's ugly lines. The trash can parlay still exists with Quiñonez to go out and get it done. And then with Marshall to get it done. And then with Gandra to get it done. One more on the D-Gen side of things, though, real quick, before I close it out. I do think Quiñonez is real live for a KO. So you could go Quiñonez by KO, plus 105. Quiñonez to show out and get this knockout win. I think it happens. At plus 105, it feels freaking live, man. Cháirez to win. Let's just say submission plus 689. And then Imanol Rodriguez over a round and a half, plus 1215. But you could go Imanol sub. These subs are making sense to me. Plus 5819. My God. But I like inside distance more a lot of the time. Chiasson by decision. If you're feeling the underdog, obviously I know some of you won't. You believe in the chin of the OG, Douglas Silva de Andrade. You know, some early time slots here. Bang, bang, plus 126. Over, under. All right. Marshall, he should probably get the finish. Marshall ITD, you run him up in here. Bam, plus 221. Okay. You're like, fuck it, man. I'm with you on Cháirez. I'll just go money line plus 324. Yeah, Quiñonez should clap him. I'm going Quiñonez by KO. He's going to knock him out. Plus 769. It can get out of hand. I don't know. Just to read some things off. At the end of the day, I'm telling you what I'm thinking, and you got to do your research and see where you line up with what I'm thinking. All right. I do really like that Imanol sub prop just straight at 5-1. I think it's live. You know, I obviously think Chiasson's a live underdog. I think Cháirez and Moreno, Lock City, live 2-leg parlay. I even think Martinez by knockout is a live probable play. And I guess that's how I'm going to close it out. Fuck it. I got one more. I got one more D-Gen call. Imanol Rodriguez to win via submission with the side of David Martinez to be the first guy to chin Chito Vera plus 5,900. And then if you're like, you know what? I'm going for the ladies fight. I'm going to have some faith in Macy Chiasson to end up winning this damn decision. Chiasson to win via decision is plus 310. So this right here is the D-Genist of D-Gen. Rodriguez sub, Martinez KO, Chiasson decision, plus 24,500. It's D-Gen. Listen, I'm reading it off. At the end of the day, money lines, 2-leg parlays, 3 legs at most. Those are the safer plays. Everything else, high-risk territory. Do your research, line it up with mine, see where we meet in the middle, make magic happen. You want to blindly tell you just betting a couple bucks, different convo. But if you're throwing serious heat down, you should be doing your own due diligence and backing yourself up, all right? I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the weigh-in recap show. Make sure you all smash the likes, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and hey, don't be afraid to share the video. Send it to a friend, all right? And hype the video also. I'll be live for the full card. See you guys then. Let me know what you think of the picks in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. You got Moreno in the main event with me? You think Imanol by sub is a live outcome? You feeling it too? I want to hear. Let me know in the comments. Nothing to say. W in the comments to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all in the next one. Much love and peace out.